Creality reached out to me to see if I wanted to test out their new 3D printer, the K2 Plus. Now, this is the first time I've ever received a 3D printer from Creality directly for a review. I have purchased the Ender 5 Plus almost 5 years ago, and I backed the CR6 SE. Now, I did do reviews on both, and I was pretty critical. Now, let's see if they have learned some lessons. This thing is packed very well and super, super heavy.
It's very heavy.
Now let's go over some of the features. It has a Core XY build volume of 350 square, so you can print some large prints. It has a dual gear direct drive extruder. On the X, Y, Z, and E, it has FOC step servo motors. It has auto leveling compensation with auto tilt reduction. The tool head has an AI camera that tunes the flow rate. There's an additional chamber AI camera where you can monitor your prints, and the printer will monitor the prints for you for failures. The chamber can be heated up to 60 C and has dual filter exhaust. It has active belt tensioning with 10mm belts, and it has the Creality filament system, and it can handle up to 16 colors with RFID. Now, the user manual does come with some information, but mostly they're QR codes that you're going to scan, and it'll lead you to some videos. I really believe in still paper documentation, but it is okay. And they have a really good wiki for this printer. I have to say it's the most extensive that I've ever seen from Creality. It walks you through everything, including the firmware updates, and I actually used it on the USB as here and installed it that way. It was a lot faster than going over Wi-Fi. So yes, you could operate this printer offline mode, including software updates, which another manufacturer just decided to update themselves. Now, Creality does say that they would prefer that you use Creality Print 5.1, which is a fork of Orca Slicer. However, they give you the config file for Orca Slicer if you so choose. You simply just go ahead and download the file, open up Orca Slicer, and drag the file on to your workspace. And that's basically it. It's configured for you, and you can just follow the instructions here. I'll leave a link down below just in case you want to check it out. Now, this printer weighs about let's say 120-ish pounds unpacked, and yeah, it's a beast. And this is the K2 Plus with the CFS fully assembled. I mean, this is a monster with 4 full spools. You're looking over 100 pounds of machine here, and this thing is built like a tank. Right now, this is next to my Ender 5 Plus. The Ender 5 Plus is 350 by 400 on the Z, and you can see the size comparison between the two. It is amazing how Creality has come in 5 years. I mean, if you're going to have this moved, definitely enlist some help, because you don't want to be busting your back. I definitely want to thank Mrs. Tripod for helping me get this K2 Plus on this printer cart. Now let's briefly go over some more features of the K2 Plus and what stands it apart compared to its competitors. So let's begin with the CFS itself. The CFS stands for Creality Filament System, and it is RFID compatible with filament based on Creality's RFID system. It has spring-loaded guides on the top to help keep the filament down from bouncing around. That definitely is a plus. Also has these raised Bowden tube guides to help guide the filament through the CFS. The CFS is not heated, but it does show the humidity as well as temperature and designation. And there is a place for desiccant packs as well. The K2 Plus has a nice, vibrant, responsive touchscreen. As I click on the USB, it didn't go anywhere, but it is responsive. It's just a little bit too small for my fingers. But inside, let's take a look. The K2 Plus has 2 cameras, one on the tool head, and that will detect flow, and the other one is also on the side that will detect like if there's a failure. Also has active belt tensioning, so you never have to worry about tensioning the belts. It has a massive build sheet, 5mm thick, to keep your bed nice and warm. It has 2 part coolers, one on each side. For Z stabilization, it has 4 linear rods, 2 on each side. There's also a linear rod on the X-axis and linear rails on the Y. While the back has the dual exhaust ports and the heating element. Now, this is the Creality Unicorn nozzle.
Did you see that unicorn?
This is a proprietary hardened steel nozzle made with titanium alloy that could go up to 350 C. And just a side note, it comes with this real nice toolkit. You got some of your hex keys, clippers, scraper, lube. Well done, Creality. It's a real nice toolkit. Now let's continue on. Now, the K2 Plus is a clipper-based machine. And Creality uses Creality Print, which is a fork of Orca Slicer. Within Creality Print, you have Prepare, Preview, and Device. With the Device tab, you're able to monitor your printer and actually see the camera. Unfortunately, you will not be able to see the camera any other way unless you use a separate browsing tab. So if I were to type my IP address for the printer in my web browser, I'll be able to see the fluid interface. This will give me a more advanced options to see what my printer is doing. However, I cannot add the camera to here. Again, I would have to pull up a separate browser tab and view it that way. However, I am still able to navigate the fluid interface and view all the advanced features that I so choose. So that is really the only other limitation. So you do have at least two options to navigate to see what the printer is doing. And that leads to today's video sponsor, PCBWay. Are you looking for a PCB manufacturer? Are you looking for rigid, flexible PCBs? Are you looking for them to assemble them for you? Well, they can. And they also offer other services such as 3D printing, injection molding, and CNC. Heck, they even have a community section where you could buy a project and assemble it on your own. If you're looking for any of these services, please reach out to PCBWay. Now, if you're familiar with Orca Slicer, Bamboo Labs, or Prusa Slicer, this will look very familiar. This is Creality Print. You'll notice that everything has basically moved from the left to the right though. You do have some default printer profiles, and I'm most likely just going to stick with the standard profile for most of my printing tests. And then you have your usual suspects for layer speeds, walls, and you can keep on scrolling down. You have to make sure that you click on the advanced where you see those three sliders to see some of these settings. So if you do not see them, that's what you'll need to do. And then of course you have your supports and other things that will, to help fine tune your print. I always turn off my brim, sometimes I forget. Now, just like Prusa Slicer, Orca, and Bamboo Labs, Creality Print allows you to change colors of what filament is being used for certain parts of your model. If you're using Creality filament with the RFID, you will see that the filament automatically assigns the colors on the upper right. If not, you will have to change those manually, and then you can go ahead and just choose which colors you want on your model, paint it, or just do a fill. Now I was looking for a model that I could supersize for the K2 Plus, and this is the Cute Baby Panda. It has no supports, and it's by Kitty Prints. I found this on Creality Cloud. Now I'm going to bring this model up to 340 on the Z, so not quite the 350, but I think that's close enough. Now it's going to provide a lot of details after you slice the plate, basically telling you how much filament is going to be used. It's going to be the model, the flush, the prime tower, and the total. So you're going to really want to pay attention to all that, because this is really going to tell you the cost and how much waste there's going to be. Yes, there's going to be lots and lots of poop.
You talking about poop?
I'm talking about poop.
So the estimated time to get this file complete was 94 hours? Yeah, it took a little bit longer. And by default, Creality Print stores time lapses, so you can actually view all your prints if you so choose. And this actually took 100 hours. Yikes.
I'm the big fat panda.
Now, before I open this door and show you the print, there's going to be some issues with the print. Some of them are going to be model specific, and some might be of my own making, so to speak. Now, this consumed a lot of white filament, and there was 4 different spool changes for the white, and so you're going to see some inconsistencies with the white. So let's go ahead and take this out and take a look. Now, this is a support-free model, no supports. But when you increase the size, your overhangs are going to be a lot bigger. You can notice the pads on these feet. There are some, doesn't look that great. So you need to be aware when you increase the size, not all your overhangs are going to be that great. I do know some blobs here, but they come right off. So it's not that big of an issue. But the lines look really, really good. But you notice on the belly here, I've seen some gradient with the belly here. It's almost like there's color bleed, which is odd because at the bottom, there really wasn't any into the white. But you can see that the lines have definitely changed in color. I don't know if that means because it's moving up and changing sizes or not. But you can see right around the chin, that was a different filament. And I actually had enough to finish the head with that filament, but it cracked in the CFS because, well, it was old and it had some moisture. So I had another filament change of white, and you can see around the eyes, they look kind of weird. Like it's almost like it's not painted correctly, but I could have sworn I painted everything correctly. The ears came out fantastic. The top part of it looks great for the last color change. The bottom layer was absolutely perfect. Now let's take a look at the poop. I haven't seen this much poop since, well...
You want to go to Taco Bell?
Yeah, so this box was behind there, and this is all just from the Panda print.
Holy sh... Poop.
Frankly, I think it would have been easier just to print it all white and just paint everything. It's a simple paint job. But I want to test something. So I decided to print it again small. This is only about 70 millimeters tall. And I wanted to compare between the large print and the small print. Now from a distance, this little panda looks pretty good, but as we get closer, not so much. I should have paid attention to some of the pictures on Creality Cloud. This model didn't come out well. The pads of the feet came out good, the overhangs are okay, but the layer lines are almost identical for where the bleeding I thought was bleeding was, and the color changes in the white. I mean, almost everything is identical to the big model. You can see it in the head. You can see the different gradients. The eyes, look at the eyes. Yeah, you can see that, something's weird. So let's check the slicer. Yeah, it's definitely, I should have checked the sliced file. You can see that the lines into the eyes are there, and I tried repainting it, and I couldn't get rid of them. So definitely want to review the model ahead of time before you print. Definitely my fault. So let's call this redemption round. I picked a Stephen the Lightspeed model. This is a dumpster, and I know that they're scalable and they scale nicely. So let's do a 3 times size print of this. Now to me, this is what doing multicolor is great for, because basically there's 2 colors and 2 separate bodies. So you're not wasting that much filament. And look at these lines. Absolutely nice and crisp, very clean. And one thing that's good about Stephen the Lightspeed models, they're all print in place. Really, really nice and clean. I'm very happy with how this print came out. Now I did mess up. There is a line around the top here that's black, like 2 of them, that I did not see when I was slicing and painting the file. But look at the inside here. Absolutely smooth. This is one real nice print. So you do see a little bit of over extrusion there, but I think that's because of how the model is printed. And everything just moves nicely. Now, Mrs. Tripod did steal this, so I no longer have it. She gave it to a coworker, and I think a lot of them want some of these. So well done, Stephen. So I am going in reverse order here, so let's now try a benchy. I want to see how that comes out. Now this benchy was only about 14 minutes. It does have a little bit of a brim on there, so let's go ahead and take that off real quick. Now for a 14-minute benchy, really have no complaints. I do not see any stringing. You know, I mean, the bottom, well, it's a pretty aggressive build sheet, so that looks pretty good. I mean, this, I just remember doing benchies on printers 3, 4, 5 years ago. I'd be waiting over 3.5 hours for a benchy to look this good. It's hard to believe that we are getting this type of quality. There's a little bit of ringing by the hole there, but not very much. Overall, this is a very good print. So I am very impressed so far with how this printer is working. So let's continue with the redemption round. I wanted to do another multicolor print, and hopefully this one will come out better since now I have a better understanding with some of the models. And my prime tower fell over, my fault, because I should have actually cleaned the bed, and I didn't. This is the Cute Shark Knitted, and it's by Whale 3D Studio that I found on Creality Cloud. And just like the other models, this was done at the standard height of 0.2. And this came out so much nicer. Look at, there's no color bleeding at all. And I'm a fan of printing a lot lower layer lines, usually at 0.12, but man, this really is good. And I'm more of a practical print type of person, but I think this really shows how well this printer can print. The multicolor came out great. There was no bleeding or anything, so definitely choose your models wisely. So what are my overall impressions about the Creality K2 Plus? Let's start with some of the negatives. I think the CFS should have some guide rollers on top instead of these spring things, because I think that it will last longer and it'll help guide the filament better. Make them spring rollers instead. And the CFS, I think, should have some type of heater in it, because my filament did not break until it was in the CFS for almost 4 hours. So yeah, so I know it was a little bit older of filament, well, way old, it was 3 years, but I believe that my print would have survived a lot better if it had a heated chamber. Now, sometimes the poop doesn't land in the poop chute.
There's poop everywhere!
And to be fair, this also happens on the bamboo, but this seems a little excessive. And I would really like to have RFID open source. I think it's a great idea, but I really think that Bamboo Labs and Creality and whoever does RFID needs to open source this to make it easier for customers. And it is massive. I mean, really big. And I really thought the Ender 5 Plus was big, but this is really big and heavy, very heavy. So you're going to need to find a place for the K2 Plus where it's basically going to have a permanent home. And I most likely will move mine to the left because I can't use the filament holder on the right because it's next to my storage cabinet. So definitely want to think about where you want to have it. Now, it's not a bad thing. It's just something that you may want to just consider when purchasing a printer of this size. Now, mine was not received with any broken feet, thank goodness, but some of it's due to shipping and other is due to how the machine is handled and moved around. Do not drag it. You have to pick it up and move it, and then you will not have any broken feet. Now let's go over some of the positives, and there's a lot to go over here, so let's do this rather quickly. This thing is beefy. Well, I mean, that's why it weighs a lot too. I mean, you have some real nice beefy linear rods and rails in here that keeps the whole motion system stable with some 10mm belts on here. And what contributes to the beefiness is what Creality calls the matrix frame. It's ultra sturdy, and it's a stiff top, base, and side pieces of die cast aluminum. Yeah. And this also has an AC heated bed, which has a thickness of 5mm and can also go up to 120 degrees. And with the active heated chamber of 60 degrees, you are able to print almost any type of filament. That is pretty darn nice. And then there's print speed. It is super fast and it maintains quality while printing fast. Now, I know there was some launch delays with this, but I'd rather have a product that is fine-tuned and ready for production than one that's rushed. And I really believe that Creality nailed this. This is a really high quality machine, and it really exceeded all my expectations out of the box. Now, I really hope that you found this review informative, and if you could please like and subscribe. And of course, I would suggest watching other reviewers and their content as well to make sure that this machine is right for you. However, if you are looking to purchase this, it would be nice if you could use the affiliate links down below to purchase it, because it does help support the channel and does not cost you anything extra. So once again, I'd like to thank you for tuning into Tripod's Garage. Please have a wonderful day, evening, or weekend, or whenever you decide to watch this video. Thanks again for tuning in, and we'll catch you the next time on Tripod's Garage. Well, I got a spot cleared off of the old school 3D printing rack that I made 5 years ago. What's gonna go there? Well, it looks like it's gonna be this thing. K2 Plus. What? Yeah, you got kicked to the curb. You know why? Because you got bad extruder. Yep, you're naughty and broken. So where do you go? You are now a floor printer. Sorry, SK1. I don't know. I'll maybe fix you later. But now we are going to put the K2 Plus combo right there. Only problem is it's going to be pooping back there. Uh-oh. I got to figure out how to catch the poop. Anyways, fun times are ahead. Yay! Well, it looks like this panda has some secrets. Oh, what's this? This panda's wearing some fishnet stockings. What's going on, panda, huh? Well then. Oh, just check in the panda. 47%. This video needs to be done by Sunday. I don't think I have enough time. Or enough filament. Oh, wait. I think I'm good. Maybe. But what's happening with you? You got a little dark in the belly there for some reason. Look at those lines. Too bad. We're going to definitely run out of the black and the white. Oh, look at that bridge tower. You're a little fuzzy.